Very good morning, friends. Today I am going to take you further on the pricing part. We are on a journey in marketing management, principles of marketing. As you know, my name is Dr. Rajendra Prasad Sharma and I am professor of marketing at the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Today our theme is pricing a new product. So we are going to discuss in this session how is it that a firm can price its new value proposition, a new offering which this firm is going to launch in the market. So as we know, new products are always getting launched in the market by the companies, and the firms have a task of pricing it for the first time. So when you price something for the first time, there is hardly any reference price, and therefore there is a lot of hard work that has to go into pricing new offerings. Some of the major considerations are, and if you go wrong on those considerations, you can fall flat on your face and the firm may make losses. So as we are aware that a business is supposed to be profit-making entity, therefore some of the key considerations in pricing are that you must recover all your costs. It's not possible to make a profit if a firm is not even recovering its costs. So the price has to be something which takes care of all the costs, the variable costs, the fixed costs, and every type of the cost. So low prices basically are only trying to look at recovering the costs. But on the other end of the spectrum, if a firm tries to set the price too high, then what happens is that it may not be possible for the firm to create good volume of demand in the market. So as we all know that the basic objective of marketing is to create demand and at the same time make profit by recovering all the costs. So therefore, some of the key considerations are that costs must be covered and the consumers must perceive value. Yeah, they should be happily willing to pay for it. And if they don't get value, they might switch to the competitors if there are any. So we also need to bear in mind the prices of the competitors, competing brands. Even if there is no real competing brand or product, then in that case, the closest substitute has to be borne in mind. And of course, when we price for the first time, we need to pay attention to the firm's a lot of internal factors, its own aspirations, long-term objectives, marketing objectives, as well as business objectives, as well as external objectives, because you need to take care of other stakeholders like shareholders. Their expectations are also there, or you must have raised money from the market, so you need to really pay your debts and things like that, and you need to take care of the community social corporate social responsibility and also pay your employees well. So in such cases, I think a lot of factors go into this. Even external image of the firm and its reputation plays a role as to how are you likely to charge. So therefore, in this session, we are going to look at how firms can price their offerings when they are launching, their produce for the first time in the market. So as I said, the customer value on the one end of the spectrum and cost-based pricing on the other end of the spectrum, then I think, the firms have to take care of certain things like in cost-based pricing. One is that you need to be certain about the cost, but costs are never always 100% certain. Yeah, overheads may be certain, but variable costs might change due to some reason, and even overheads these days sometimes go up because of certain factors beyond your control. The beauty is that if you use cost-based pricing, you are at least certain about your costs. That, okay, these are the costs and we are recovering them. The pricing is simplified. So it's not very complex with cost-based pricing. Even accountants can approach this kind of pricing activity. Okay. And when you do cost plus pricing, cost-based pricing, then you don't have to be, facing competition much because price competition is minimized. Everyone knows price competition is ruinous. So in price competition, basically, in competition-oriented prices, many times firms forego their costs. Yeah, but when it is cost-based pricing, you minimize price competition. And of course, the best price, which is appearing as a fair price, both to the buyers as well as sellers, is cost-based pricing. So here in cost-based pricing, I'm trying to advocate this method of calculating costs and then pricing accordingly. So it is that approach which adds a standard markup to the cost of the product. So here what happens is that suppose you target return, we have discussed in our session on break-even point that your target return is 20%. So if you know your costs, you can simply add 20% target return on your total investment. And if you do it that way on the unit cost, then I think pricing becomes easier. Yeah. So this is the simplest possible method of pricing. Which one? The cost-based pricing. And it ignores the competition, as I said, but at the same time, it ignores demand because it does not move as per the principle law of the demand. It's not dynamic pricing. It's not such that, when the demand is low, you can reduce the price and then, raise the demand. So it is not following the principle of basing your price on the demand, existing demand, and basing your price on the competitors. Yeah. So new product pricing basically has two broad types of strategies. One strategy is market skimming. So you can call it skimming pricing, market skimming pricing. Now in market skimming pricing, the firms basically charge a higher price to begin with. Mostly this practice belongs to or is resorted by companies which are high on technology. We are aware that consumers go through an adoption process. When they buy, it is primarily the innovators who embrace the product for the first time when it gets launched. And then comes early majority. So only after the innovators have bought the product, then this early majority gets into. And then the late majority and the laggards. So in case of price skimming, the innovators and early majority, they pay a higher price. Innovators pay the highest price. So the firm charges because the product is premium. Like for example, iPhone 12 Pro. So Apple could charge a very high price for this because this iPhone 12 Pro is going to be used by avid fans of Apple. They've tasted Apple, they've used Apple, and they are loyal fans of Apple. They have undergone customer experience, they are already engaged with Apple, and they want to go and buy this kind of a new phone. So in such technology products, definitely, skimming marketing prices, absolutely fine because it's an innovative product. There's a segment which adopts it, and therefore, the income group to which these innovators belong. They are high on resources, they are high income people, their per capita income is high, and this particular segment can pay any kind of a price. So it's an opportunity for the firm to capitalize on this and charge a premium and recover their not only the cost. It's not cost based, but it's basically the willingness to pay, and you can skim. So skimming means the cream comes out. You can take the cream out, because by the time the product becomes mass, then people don't really pay that high, and the firms then can reduce the price later on. So new product launches, skimming pricing is the strategy that many firms use. We see in India that a lot of companies which are launching organic products, they charge a premium and they skim. So I have seen that organic pulses are almost double the price of the non-organic normal category of pulses. Yeah. And then the other important strategy is the market penetration, which is exactly opposite of the skimming price. So in a skimming, the price is high, and market penetration strategy recommends that the price has to be low. And this is more common to categories in B2C, business to consumer, FMCG, fast moving consumer goods category, where firms set a low price for a new product. The single most objective is that you want to attract as large a population to the product so that they can adopt the product, as many buyers as possible, because marketing is all about attracting customers and of course retaining them too. So the low prices, the penetration pricing is able to attract customers for getting a larger market share. So if the objective is large market share, a significant pie of the market share, firms use penetration pricing. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all such companies initially when they launch a product, they would like to get volumes, high volumes. So in case of that, they resort to penetration pricing, because it's not a product technology product which where you can skim and then you can reduce the price later on. So new product pricing strategies are broadly either price skimming or price penetration, market penetration. And market penetration helps customer acquisition, and skimming price more helps getting a premium. So we have discussed a case earlier, Navneet Shah plastic products. And we saw that if he launches a throwaway ballpoint pen at a higher price, then only certain segment of the customers will adopt it. But since it was an economical and affordable price, and if Navneet does that, then I think his strategy is penetration pricing. Worldwide, retail chains like Walmart uses EDLP, everyday low price. Our Big Bazaar chain, now, well, they have been acquired by Reliance, but they always used to proclaim isse sasta kahin nahi. And basically it was penetration pricing that Big Bazaar wanted, because they wanted to attract every common citizen of the country, every shopper of the country to supermarkets, to air conditioned organized markets. So with that objective, they have done it. In foreign countries, stores like chains like Costco and Kroger, they even sell organic produce. I just now discussed that organic produce, basically products, the companies use price skimming, market skimming strategy, but Kroger and Costco, they use penetration pricing at their stores. We are familiar, Jio in India in telecom has used penetration pricing only. In fact, their offerings have been completely free for a couple of months during their launch. Now that's the way they set their prices. And in fact, they have moved significant market share from subscriber base from other companies like Vodafone and Airtel to their subscriber base. So pricing is that important and interesting. Yeah. So under what product, new product strategies, pricing strategies, market penetration pricing favors when market must be highly price sensitive. So if my market is price sensitive, let me set low prices, particularly in India, emerging economies, most of the firms they set low prices. Why? Because you need volumes. And as I said, FMCG, this is very popular. Yeah. And if your production distribution cost must fall as sales volume increases, therefore, you think that, okay, volumes will offset, so you can actually go for penetration pricing. If you really want to keep your competitors away, then I need to decide a low price position which benefits, maybe the benefits are only temporary, but this helps because it keeps competition away. So the industry does not remain attractive in case of penetration pricing. And if you are into skimming pricing, the industry remains so attractive that several other potential entrants would look at getting into the business. Yeah, we are familiar that in laptop market, Dell has used a strategy to attract several customers, buyers, because Dell wanted to acquire a larger market share. Now, this is equally applicable in the smartphones business. In a smartphone business, mostly firms have used skimming pricing strategy when they launched a new product. But certain companies which needed volumes, they launched them at throwaway prices like MI phones, etc. And basically, they then try to penetrate the market deeper. So these smartphone companies, they actually, deal with competition from other firms which are trying to skim. So since these two pricing strategies are, on the two ends of the spectrum, it is important that we understand which strategy takes care of just the cost. Penetration takes care of cost only primarily. Sometimes you sell at lower, at prices lower than the costs. So let me compare how cost-based pricing and value-based pricing, they differ. The difference is that, like I have sometimes said, that there is an inside out approach and there is an outside in approach. In cost-based pricing, it's inside out approach because products are costed. Product costing is done. Prices are decided accordingly. And that offers some value. And finally, you reach the customers with this. But when you talk about value-based pricing, it's outside in perspective. So you start with the customer in the marketing approach. Customers seek value, and therefore I want to offer value to the people. Value does not mean only the product, but value means price value also. And therefore, to offer superior value, I price accordingly. So here I bear in mind customer value proposition and creating good value for them, delivering that value. And therefore, according to the value, I would like to reduce my costs. I would like to keep my costs under control. And then I can design the product accordingly. The famous case, Tata Nano. When Ratan Tata said that $2,000 and people's car, it's all yours. So their reverse engineering was done because price was announced. Value was proposed in terms of the price. This is only a fantastic case where, the price was first decided. Normally, it so happens that you decide other elements of the marketing mix, like the product, place, and promotion, and then you worry about the price. But in this particular case, price was decided and then costing was done, and then the product was launched in the market. Yeah, in one of the cases which I discussed with you, floor cover case, when I talked about break even point and all, there also the same situation applies. So when this company is launching a new plaster cover which is 5 years, 5 times more durable, 5 years life, yeah, and for the commercial establishment segment which needs this value proposition, the firm can either look at the costs. We discussed fiberglass cost, and we discussed the labor, direct material and labor cost and things like that, and the overhead. So having calculated the VC and the FC, variable cost and the fixed cost, one way of looking at the pricing was to decide on the basis of costs. Now in that case, the price can be low and you can seek penetration pricing. But if you start from the customer value, the willingness to pay, if the customer is already paying 38 rupees for a traditional floor cover, and then for the packing and forwarding and the installations of 44 rupees per square yard. So in that case, we looked at that since this has a 5 years life for the customer. So 44 rupees multiplied by 5 years, 220 rupees is what they should be happily be paying. Yeah, now if I charge about 200 or 220, then I think I am talking about market skimming, so that only handful of customers would like to pay this kind of a price. Okay, while you set the prices of the new products, we can also bear in mind the product mix pricing, entire product mix. And we know that there are certain products in the product mix which have different costs. Customers like features and benefits of certain products in the entire product mix. The competition prices are also sometimes attacking on some products of the mix. So therefore product line pricing is important. It becomes important. Let's look at the case of Heinz ketchup, and since they have 57 varieties, different SKUs, stock keeping units, I mean, yeah. So how is it that you price 200 ml, 100 ml, 500 ml, 1 liter, 2 liter, 5 liter, and institutional packs of the ketchup? Yeah, on which ketchup you release certain sales promotional schemes, so that there are discounts and there are lower prices, so that they move more. Which of your SKUs are so fast moving that you need not reduce or keep penetration pricing there? So Heinz could either keep skimming pricing because it's a premium brand as compared to the others, but when it comes to pricing the entire product line, you need to be careful, so that for every SKU you can price it so that the SKU sells, because every SKU has a different value proposition. Yeah. So here, friends, I would like to discuss that when it comes to product mix related pricing, then there are a couple of things that one must bear in mind. As I said, one of the strategies is product line pricing. Yeah, Philips does it, Dow does it, Heinz does it. But another strategy could be optional feature pricing. So there are certain products which give you an optional feature. For example, Hyundai i20. There are 3 variants. Would you want Astra? Would you want Magna? Would you want Sports? Okay, like in Maruti, Suzuki, you have LXI, VXI, etc. Now, if you want the VXI or the sports model of Hyundai i20, then because that's an optional feature, you are supposed to pay a different price, a higher price, because there is a base price and then there are other models which are priced at the higher price. So this is also a strategy where new products are priced that way. And some companies, some brands, some products, they follow captive product pricing. So if once the customer is acquired, you can make money, profits through the sale of other products, captive products. For example, you sell Gillette razor, but when the razor has been bought, then the The razor can be priced low because the blades that will go with that razor, they can be priced high. HP, Hewlett Packard, printer may be low price, but the printer cartridges may be the high price. So this is called captive product pricing. Yeah. Some companies, while pricing their products or services for the first time, in case of new products, they follow two-part pricing. Two-part pricing means that there can be a basic price entry level, entry fee, for example. So if you enter an amusement park like, SL World or Apughar, then you pay entry fee, which is basic, but for every ride, each ride you pay a price. Now this is a two-part pricing strategy. So I recover my, basic costs, fundamental operational costs through the entry price. And for making my profit and maintaining my revenue time, line, I think I can, charge the profit from the second part of the price. Yeah. And one more strategy which is used in product mix pricing is byproduct pricing. Petroleum companies have a lot of byproducts, milk companies have byproducts. So for example, what would be the milk pricing? And if you take the butter out of the milk, so butter pricing is one, and then what remains is the buttermilk. So how do you price that? Yeah. So firms have to do every kind of pricing, whether it is product line pricing or optional feature pricing or captive product pricing or two-part pricing or byproduct pricing. So in this session, friends, we have discussed how companies must look at their pricing when they are launching a product for the first time. There are only two broad strategies: low prices and you are using penetration strategy, high prices and you are using market skimming strategy. The key concerns are that it all depends upon the kind of product, competition, willingness to pay, and your costs. So the firms need to be very, very objectively clear about what they want and price accordingly. Pricing is a very, very sensitive issue, and if you price wrongly, then it can be a fatal mistake, and prices cannot easily be changed that frequently, despite the fact that most flexible component is price, because price communicates an image. So if you are Harley Davidson, then you cannot reduce prices much because you are a premium product. So it goes well with the premiumness of the product. However, in further sessions, we will also discuss how discounts, allowances, and promotions could be used in pricing. So hope you learned something new about setting prices for the new products in this session. Thank you very much. See you later. Have a good day.